Day number 13 of Chicago Bears training camp is in the books, and let's talk about what happened. What's going on, guys? I'm back with another Chicago Bears training camp update video, which I'll be giving guys during this offseason. So if you guys want all the updates on what's happening with the Chicago Bears in training camp, definitely be sure to subscribe to my channel. Training camp is going to be over now, at least for the public, after next week. Okay, so the last public practice, I think there's 2 next week, then it's done. Okay, then they're still going to practice, obviously, but it's not going to be open to the public because then they're going to be getting ready for the start of the regular season, okay? Doing a lot more, plays that they would actually be doing in real life, okay, in the real games when the season starts. Right now, it's practice, so they're working on basic stuff that is kind of vanilla. Like, you don't want to show your true cards this early in camp just in case, maybe a secret member, undercover member of the Packers staff is watching you at practice. You never know, guys. So all jokes aside, guys, today was a pretty fun practice. I was actually at practice today. I got tickets last minute from a very nice subscriber of mine that offered me his tickets because he couldn't go. So I had a lot of fun. It was a pretty low-key practice, I would say. Like, they only went for 75 minutes maybe. They wrapped up practice. It seemed like kind of early, like around 11:10ish. They had a huddle. I don't know if anything happened after that because I left after that, but majority of practice was done by then. It was non-padded too, so kind of a lower intensity day, I would say, but there was still a lot of fantastic plays made by both sides of the ball and a lot to talk about in this video. And I'll start by talking about the Chicago Bears offense, because for the, I would say, second consecutive day now, the Chicago Bears offense put together a very encouraging performance, at least at the beginning of practice. Okay, second half, the defense definitely got to them. They stalled, good amount in the second half, but the first half of practice, the offense was basically flawless. Okay, Justin Fields was completing almost every single pass. There were a lot of quick short throws there for Justin Fields, a lot of plays where it was just a slant or a dump off, but nothing else was open going down the field. So that's kind of why Justin Fields chose to take the short yardage, and he did that pretty often today, okay? The majority of his throws were short yardage throws, I would say, okay? There wasn't much beyond 10, 15 yards, which usually that's what Justin Fields likes to go to the most. But I'm happy he's working on these short yardage situations too, because you need to master that if you want to be a good quarterback in the NFL. So speaking of guys that he got completions to, so in the red zone drills where he scored a touchdown 3 out of the 4 tries that he had, the first pass, it was a pretty nice pass going outside to Kari Blasingame, the fullback, right down the sideline. Nice quick throw right in his hands, and Blasingame could not get into the end zone, but it was still a very good play nonetheless. And if you look at, a pass he had after that to Treston Ebner, which actually did get into the end zone. This was a nice route by Treston Ebner. I don't have video of this, by the way. I apologize, guys. They didn't allow us to take video there. I wish we could, and I couldn't find much on Twitter either. I'll try to put some on the screen right now if I do find any video of this. But Ebner had a pretty quick release going down the left sideline. Justin Fields identified him almost immediately and got the ball to him, and it resulted in a touchdown. After that, he had, let me look at my notes. So he had a touchdown also to Jake Tongs, the fullback, okay, the backup fullback, Jake Tongs. This was a good catch by Jake Tongs, okay, keeping his feet in bounds here, but also a very good throw by Justin Fields where he had to roll out a little bit, buy some time, throw kind of a sidearm pass, like kind of an awkward angle delivery, I would say, but Justin Fields still delivered a pretty nice pass to Tongs, and Tongs made a very nice tiptoeing catch for him in the end zone. So that was a nice touchdown. Justin Fields also had a drive where there was a couple false start penalties on the offense. So they were backed up, like, I think 5 or maybe it might have been 2 false start penalties in a row, but they were backed up nonetheless. And Justin Fields and Darnell Mooney made up for that yardage in an instant, okay, with a strike down the middle for like 20, 25-ish yards. Okay, Justin Fields also had some pressure coming in from the right side. There was a free rusher coming in unblocked on that play. It was a blitz on the right side, and he had a straight shot to Justin Fields, but Justin Fields delivered the ball super quick to Darnell Mooney in the middle of the field, and Mooney caught on for a nice gain of like 20, 25-ish, which you love to see that, guys. I mean, I think Justin Fields did identify the free rusher on the sideline, which is why he went to Mooney so fast, and that's why, that resulted in a big play for the offense and not a sack for the offense. So good recognition there by Justin Fields. He also found Tajay Sharp, okay, backup receiver Tajay Sharp, who's been having an increased role in the last couple of days because of all the receiver injuries that we have. Okay, so he found him in the back corner of the end zone for a very nice tiptoeing catch by Sharp, but also a very nice throw by Justin Fields. Like, he's rolling out to his left, had pressure in his face, and he kept the play going for a little bit. Didn't seem to be anybody open. Delivered the ball over the heads of the DBs and the linebackers, and Tajay Sharp went up and caught the ball and came down for a touchdown. So A lot of plays today, guys, where Justin Fields was on the move or evading pressure. I wouldn't say the offensive line was bad per se in the beginning because they were giving him decent amount of time to throw the football, but there weren't too many guys getting open because, again, our receiver talent right now is pretty limited, okay? We don't have superstars at receiver, especially with all the injuries that we had. So Justin Fields had to buy some time sometimes, but he did find guys open eventually and, got touchdowns for the Chicago Bears offense. And when there was, a guy coming at him pretty fast, looking off the edge, or there was pressure in his face, he got the ball out super quick, whether that be a slant or a dump off or short yardage. I mean, it was a very efficient performance by Fields and the Bears offense. Okay, very few wasted plays, very few incompletions, so they got positive yardage. Most plays, even though it was pretty short yardage, they still kept the chains moving and got into the end zone pretty frequently in the first half of practice. I also want to talk about Tajae Sharpe, guys, because this guy had a big day today at practice. He had, I think I counted like 4 or 5 catches for Tajae Sharpe. He was a favored target, I would say, for Justin Fields today, catching mostly short passes, so slants and intermediate routes, so nothing going really down the field that much, but he did have a touchdown, very impressive touchdown where he had to jump up and get the ball. He had a couple nice catches that had some traffic there. He also had a he had a catch where Justin Fields kind of fastballed the ball to him and he didn't expect it, but he still caught it, which is a pretty good, I thought, adjustment by Tajae Sharpe. So, man, Tajae Sharpe, if he continues having this connection with Fields that he's had the past, 3 or 4 days of practice now, he could make the roster, okay? He could be receiver number 5, receiver number 6, and there's enough time from now until the start of the regular season for him to move up the depth chart, because right now he's like the 7th or 8th receiver on the depth chart, but if he keeps producing like he's been producing the last 4 days and even in the preseason games too, he has a good chance of being on the Bears 53-man roster. So that's the offense, guys. A pretty strong performance at the beginning, very efficient. But second half of practice, the defense completely took over, okay, and stalled the offense multiple times. There was a lot of plays being made on the ball, okay? So Jalen Johnson had multiple plays in coverage where he was very physical and basically forced the ball out on tight window passes from Justin Fields. One of them was to Tajae Sharpe, where Tajae Sharpe had a chance to get it, but Jalen flew in there and knocked the ball out super fast. I mean, he could have had a monster hit on Tajae Sharpe if this was actually a real game-like situation, but obviously they're not going full 100% in practice. You're not trying to kill your teammates in practice, so he went for the ball and knocked it out, okay? But a very strong playing coverage there by Jalen Johnson. He also had a nice playing coverage against Darnell Mooney, going up against Mooney, which was actually a pretty nice throw by Justin Fields, but Jalen got his hands up, knocked the ball out, and another strong forced incompletion by Jalen Johnson. So nice plays and coverage there by Jalen. Jalen Jones also had a couple incompletions forced. He's a backup defensive back that we have on the roster. Had a couple nice plays on the ball. DeAndre Houston-Carson also had a pick 6, not on Justin Fields, but on Nathan Peterman. Okay, Nathan Peterman threw a pretty bad pass. It was a kind of like a wobbly pass, which DHC intercepted and made it go the other way. Obviously, Nathan Peterman is a pretty bad quarterback, but still, okay, nice play on the ball there by DeAndre Houston-Carson. And overall, I would say, guys, our DBs look pretty strong the second half of practice, okay, sticking to their man, playing disciplined, playing physical as well, popping the ball up multiple times and standing their ground and limiting the offense to not much at all in the second half. The passers also had a much stronger performance in the second half than in the first half. Okay, a lot of pressure on Justin Fields, a lot of pressure in his face, which caused a lot of incompletions, and it caused the offense to stall and settle for field goals at the end of practice. Tonga, second-year player Tonga, had a sack on Justin Fields as well in the second half of practice, where he overwhelmed the interior of our offensive line, got past the blockers, and it would have been a sack in a real game-like situation. It would have been a big one too. He could have killed Justin Fields there because he had a straight shot to Justin Fields, and he's a big guy. But thankfully, that was not a game situation, okay? But nice play there by Tonga. I'm interested to see if he's going to get more playing time this season, because last year he was not playing that much, but now he is a second-year player. The regime values him enough to keep him on the roster for this year, even though he was only a 7th-round pick last year. But he will be playing the backup 3 technique spot, and if there is any opportunity for him to play, I hope he does get the chance, because he has a lot of size, a lot of power, and a lot of raw aggression that he displayed, especially at practice today. So good, strong performance by the defense in the second half of practice, but I would say the offense definitely won the day in the first half of practice, which you love to see that, guys. Okay, you love to see back and forth between the offense and the defense. The offense came out strong, but then the defense bounced back with a strong performance of their own in the second half, which shows that they have fight and they were not willing to just let the offense go out there and win the entire day, which I love to see. Okay, so overall, a pretty solid day of practice, all things considered. I do want to talk about Roquan Smith a little bit too now. So Roquan Smith was at practice, okay? The second half of practice, maybe in the middle somewhere, he, was on the field talking with guys on the sidelines, but he wasn't doing anything, okay? So the Bears, they haven't fined him yet, to my knowledge, but they might choose to fine him for not attending practice, because Coach Eberflus actually said in his post-game press conference that they expect Roquan Smith to play now, okay? Because he's off the PUP list, he's fully healthy, which I don't think he was ever injured to begin with, okay? They were kind of doing Roquan a favor by having him on the PUP list, but Roquan publicly called out Ryan Poles, so Ryan Poles is playing hardball now, and he's not willing to play nice anymore, I guess, with Roquan Smith, which the situation honestly sucks because Roquan Smith is the leader of our defense and, in my opinion, the best player on the football team. So it sucks to see this back and forth going on between the front office and Roquan, but that is the business, okay? The NFL is a business and stuff like this happens in a business. So let me know what you guys think about this in the comments down below. What comments you have about today's practice. I'll be back again. So they don't actually practice tomorrow and they have a game on Saturday. So I'll have to check the schedule. I think our next practice might be Monday or Tuesday. But regardless, I will have a preview video for the preseason game probably out tonight or maybe tomorrow night. It won't be like a long video or anything. It's only preseason, but I'm still gonna, give you guys a video of what you should look out for in this game, what I'll be looking out for, and I cannot wait for the game on Saturday. It should be a lot of fun, okay? The first chance the regime has to, play football, okay, in a live setting. So let me know what you guys think about this in the comments down below, but I'm out. As always, bear down.